All right, everybody, welcome back to the Waiver Wire. It's July 8th, late in the evening. I'm joined again with Nick. We haven't been on for a minute. Little 4th of July celebrations going on throughout the weekend, but now we're back again. Man, how you been? How you been, Nick?
Good. Great Independence Day. Getting over the drinking and eating and ready to talk more basketball.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, on the 5th, Kawhi made his decision to go to the Clippers, and, man, what do you think about that? The whole Paul George trade, Kawhi making his decision. It happens at, I think it was, midnight, you know what I mean? I was in Redmond, but,
Yeah.
it was pretty crazy. What did you think about that?
Oh man, I was so relieved that Kawhi Leonard saved us from LeBron's sins. He picked the right team, either the Raptors or the Clippers, and now we have this sense of parity that everyone's talking about. And then I swipe away the Kawhi alert, and another Bleacher Report alert pops up, and Paul George is traded to the Clippers, and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Okay, a little less parity now because those two guys are like dream fit scenario for me, and I think they're the favorites in the West. Not a huge favorite, but they're the team to beat for sure. I'm just glad he didn't pick the Lakers.
Yeah, the Clippers were a 48-win team last year. After the Paul George trade and the Kawhi signing, they jumped 3-1 favorites to win the finals. I was super relieved when he signed there because I knew if he went to the Lakers, it was game over for everybody. And Portland's, I think, a serious team this year, so obviously I'm rooting for these guys. So I feel like if he would have went to, I feel like if Kawhi would have signed with the Lakers, it would have just been game over from that point. Other teams I got that are going to be competitive in the West, like Utah, the Lakers, Clippers, Portland, Houston, and Denver. They're all realistic threats now in the West. I feel like now that the Lakers aren't this big ass team. Over there, they got Patrick Beverley, Paul George, Kawhi, and they're all great perimeter defenders. Lou Williams, Shamet coming off the bench, great role players, and Montrezl Harrell. Shamet shot 45% from three. And all three of these guys, Patrick Beverley, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard, can lock somebody down. So I think defensively, they're going to be a juggernaut coming out of the West. And they've proven that they can score when Paul George is averaging 28 a game and Kawhi's averaging 24, 30 and a half in the playoffs. So I think they're marked as the favorites, and I wouldn't question it at all, just shown based on the stats and who they got surrounding these two all-star players.
Yeah, definitely. Those three guys, Beverly, George, and Kawhi, they all have multiple All NBA defensive awards, which is pretty crazy to think. And all these backcourts in the West with CJ and Dame and Conley and Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, De'Aaron Fox, DeMar DeRozan, they're going to be able to lock these guys down for sure. I think for me, looking at the Clippers roster, if I had to find one hole, it's down low. Their only 7-footer is Zubac. I'm not going to attempt to say his first name because I don't know how to say it. But he's a tough physical defender, but he's going to have to battle guys like Jokic, guys like Whiteside, guys like Nurkic, Gobert, Willie Cauley-Stein, LaMarcus Aldridge. And if he gets in foul trouble, all of a sudden you're relying on a guy like Montrezl Harrell, who is more an energy big man off the bench, not a reliable, disciplined defender. I really am interested to see how they handle the bigs in the West with their lack of size down low.
Yeah, I think for me, the hole on their roster would be a depth at guard. They really just have Patrick Beverley and not much else behind it. There's players like Sean Livingston that I think are realistic targets for him. But I think you make a great point too, where they don't have a lot of bigs down low, to stop. They do. They're gonna have to play against Rudy Gobert, and I even think if Capella stays in a Rockets uniform, he's gonna have to protect the rim against somebody catching lobs. And there's even players like Steven Adams that are decent down low players. So there's a couple question marks. I think the whole trade for Paul George, what they got 5 first rounders for him. The Clippers sent 5 first rounders.
5 first rounders, and I believe 4 of them are unprotected.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have 2 trade swaps. It's pretty unheard of. But what I want to say about the trade is don't think about it in terms of trading for Paul George. Think about it in terms of trading for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard,
right?
Because he wasn't going to go to the Clippers if Paul George wasn't there. So that's why they were willing to give up all those picks and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who I think is a really good point guard.
And Gallinari was close to being, an all-star last year as well. He played really well for him. I think, that's a good perspective to have on this trade because it's the biggest, it's the biggest haul anybody's ever received for a player or whatever. But it's like, it's not for just one player, it's for two. And, one just led a team to the finals. So, I don't know. I thought, I'm starting to become more and more this person where it's like, like the Lakers trade, for example, they gave up a lot, but they got Anthony Davis, and they already have LeBron. It's not like they're just giving up all that just to have AD. It's like, LeBron wanted them there, so they brought him for the LeBron. But anyways, man, after with Paul George leaving OKC, and now there's another burning question for everybody. I mean, Russell Westbrook, they're shopping him. Westbrook's cool with it. Westbrook wants out. There was rumored to be a Paul George and Russell Westbrook for Siakam contracts. And picks. What would you think of that as a Raptors fan, giving up Siakam and for Paul George and Russell Westbrook?
I'll tell you what I would have said, and I'm guessing it's the same thing you already said. Oh, you want to trade us Paul George? I'm open to that. And then they said, no, we want to trade you Paul George and Russell Westbrook. And I would have been like, oh, and Westbrook. Yeah, no thanks. Sorry. The dude's a team killer.
Yeah.
The verse out. Durant, Harden, Carmelo, Paul George, Sabonis, Oladipo, they all got better when they left. They all get better. He ain't it. He ain't it.
Yeah, Russell,
he's open to being traded. Let's get real. Okay, he's trading his ass if he likes it or not. They're restarting, and I think it's a phenomenal move by Oklahoma City and Sam Presti because they're getting assets back and they're going to be able to rebuild really quickly.
Yeah. I think, Westbrook, he's averaging a triple-double. And people talk about how it's like padding stats and stuff or whatever. They can say what they want, but in reality, I think that he's just got no leadership skills and like he just brings such a terrible energy to the building. Like nobody wins with him. Nobody wins with Westbrook. Like I think when ESPN is showing statistics based on shot attempts and wins when you're shooting over 20 and under 20, it's a bad sign of you as a leader or a go-to guy. It's reportedly the Pistons, Heat, Rockets, Magic, and the New York Knicks are all interested in Westbrook. There's a mutual interest with Westbrook and the Miami Heat, which that's a whole nother mess with Jimmy Butler and Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I don't see that working. I don't know where Westbrook works. One thing about Westbrook that I will say, I was all for Westbrook when he had Durant because he was a good shooter. He shot well from the free throw line, and he was a solid three-point shooter, like 30-something%. But he has just tanked his shooting percentages, and he continues to take bad shots. He continues to heave up threes, even though he's not a three-point shooter. He should follow in the footsteps of DeMar DeRozan and just go, you know what, I'm not shooting threes anymore because I can't do it. But he won't because he's unwilling to change. And I wonder if he will be successful wherever he goes, like on the surface, he's going to sell tickets. He can get a team to the playoffs. He's not a scrub. It's just, I just don't know if he's the type of guy that can win a championship. He's really Stephon Marbury-like.
Yeah, I hate to say it, to bring up Portland again, but like when we played him this postseason, whenever him and Ferguson were pulling up, I was like, oh, we're in good shape. Like those are the two guys I was like, keep shooting the ball, because every time they shot, I was like, our chances of winning are going up every time these two are shooting the ball. But yeah, OKC's putting themselves in like the best potential position they can be in for a rebuild. I mean, all these first round picks, and now they're looking to send Russell Westbrook out, and it's like it's not going to be this long, this real long rebuild. It just seems like within a matter of a couple of years they're going to be right back to contending. And even then they still have a contract like Steven Adams, which they are still trying to move. Realistically, I think it's basically in stone. Miami's gonna pull the trigger on that, like with Tyler Hero still being unsigned, and having the ability to move him in a trade. But the Pistons are another team that have enough money and could pair him with Blake Griffin and maybe make something happen over there. But realistically, I think it's a wrap with Miami. He's got 4 years and $170 million left on his contract still. So whoever's taking him in is really investing in him to carry the future of their franchise. And I'm just happy we got our guy.
Yeah.
But anyways, man, Summer League basketball. Who you watch this weekend?
Oh man, I hate to toot my own horn. Just kidding. I love it. I told you about. I was saying Kabengele, and I will apologize. I'm gonna go with the ESPN Doris Burke. She usually is all over it. Kabengele from Florida State, the 6'10" power forward center, and he has just lit up the summer league. You can't always go by numbers in the summer league. I get that, but anyone who's watched him can see that what he's doing translates. Pick and roll, pick and pop, and defending the pick and roll really well, protecting the rim, rebounding. He's not forcing up shots. He's hitting spot up threes. I have been even more impressed with, even from, I thought he was already going to be good. I had no idea he's going to come out of the gate. He's probably going to play some meaningful minutes for the Clippers because Kawhi is going to have some load management. Mo Harkless usually gets dinged up a little bit every season. Paul George is going to have load management. You never know with Zubac and Harrell. Don't be surprised if you see Kabengele come in and play some meaningful minutes. I just think that he's even blowing me away, and I just think it's awesome. He's been playing great.
Yeah, I mean, he was the 27th pick in the draft. His first game in, he had a double-double, 21 points and 10 rebounds. He shot 50% and 75% from the free throw line. Going into the draft, he was really known for his athleticism and his defensive ability, but he's really shown throughout the couple games of the summer league that he's been able to play that he's a real offensive threat as well. And he hit a couple spot up threes, and he's aggressive. He could take it to the rack and make plays, So the thing I like about him is his aggression and his determination is my favorite part about his game. I mean, I feel like he doesn't get discouraged these leagues. He did miss a couple open threes, but he still pulled up like he hit those. You know what I mean? And you like to see that confidence in a player. In his determination, there was several offensive boards he got, or just like tough rebounds that he went down there and secured, which is always good to see. But man, a guy I was super excited to see was Tyler Hero. He was the 13th pick for the Miami Heat. What'd you think about him?
Yeah, Hero coming out of Kentucky was one of those guys that is really intriguing because of his just shot making ability. He has got a smooth stroke. He can shoot off the bounce. He can shoot off the catch. He's just a shooter. And what was really encouraging to see in these few summer league games, and he played in the Utah summer league as well, so got to see him play a little bit more games than these other guys, is they're letting him bring the ball up the court, and he's kind of playing point guard, which is not what he did at Kentucky. And he's doing really well. He's handling the ball a lot better. He's handling pressure a lot better than I expected. And he's knocking down shots like everyone expected. I think it's really cool to see a guy who's willing to play while not signed on a contract. I get if you don't want to play. I mean, I get the risk involved, but I just think it's really cool to see a guy who says, no, I want to go out there and play. I want to go prove people that I'm worth that 13th pick and that I'm a player. He just loves the game, clearly. And I just think that's really cool, and he's been showing out.
Yeah, I mean, he had 23 points in his first game, and he finished with a plus-minus of 36, which the plus-minus stat, I know a lot of people don't like. I like it. It doesn't hold true to a lot of players, but to some it does. And if you have a plus 36, you're doing something right on the floor. You know what I mean? He had 3 steals and it was 9 and 9 from the free throw line. And I mean, he showed he can also pass the ball and make plays. He's throwing up lobs. He followed that with an 18-point. He followed that with an 18-point game or a 23-point game. And he's left unsigned, so he can still be traded, like I said. He's been solid. He kind of. I was reading some comments on some videos I was watching. And a lot of people said they remind them of Devin Booker and Klay Thompson because of ability to spot up and knock down a shot.
Yeah.
I thought the way he was able to create his own shot was super impressive. It was just, he was fun to watch. I like Tyler Hero a lot. But man, speaking of making your own shot, we got Gary Trent, the Trailblazers Summer League. What'd you think about that first game?
Man, the first thing I noticed, and I'm like super into the physiques of these guys. First thing I see a dude. He's got his like dreads kind of tied up. He's got a leg sleeve and he's yadded up head to toe. And he steps next to the guy he's playing. And it looked like a 13-year-old and a 30-year-old. And I'm like, oh yeah, that is Gary Trent Jr., baby. The dude is jacked. And he came out in the first game little shaky. The whole team was a little shaky the first game. They played against a Pistons team that really has been dominating the Summer League.
Yeah,
They got
that Bruce Brown is a stud. He looks good for them on Summer League.
Yeah, and they already had played a game, which is a huge advantage. So first game was a little shaky, but the second game, Gary Trent Jr. comes out and can't miss.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my goodness, he has got we're talking about Tyler Herro and having a smooth stroke. Gary Trent Jr., when he just catches it and shoots it, it is just a pretty looking shot. And he was able to create a little bit. He does a little work in the post, which he got from his daddy, Gary Trent Sr. And if anyone saw the interview with Gary Trent Sr., oh my goodness, the guy is huge, just freaking giant, which is awesome. And he was just really exciting to watch. I'm really pleasantly surprised by his shot creating ability, and also he had some nice passes as well.
Yeah, I thought with that first game we lost by 20. It was just a game where it just seemed like there was no rhythm to it. We couldn't secure rebounds. We're turning the ball over. We did not look good at all. We lost by 20. Anthony still had 15 points and 3 rebounds with under 24 minutes played. I thought he looked really good in that first game. Devin Robinson, which is a name I never honestly heard of, he played for us at forward, and he put in a double-double with 14 points and 10 rebounds and just looked like an athletic freak out there. I really enjoyed watching him. And Bruce Brown, I think, really punished us because the whole first half, I didn't watch the fourth quarter. I was kind of over it at that point. So we did not look good. But Bruce Brown, that first half, was just attacking. I think he had 7 assists by the half. I think he had 8 points and 7 assists or something. But he was like getting his shot off wherever he wanted to, and then he would drive and kick it out. And honestly, like, the Pistons have some shooters out there because they were just drilling shots.
Mikhailuk from Kansas is a baller.
Who is it?
Svi Mikhailuk. He is from the University of Kansas. He was traded by the Lakers. Great move, guys. And he can flat shoot it. I mean, talk about guys who are created in LeBron's image in terms of guys who should be playing with LeBron. It's Svi Mikhailuk, and they traded him, and I have no idea why. The guy can flat shoot it, and I really hate saying this from Summer League, but he is just eerily similar to Clay when he shoots the ball. Off the bounce, off the catch. Everyone should pray that the Warriors don't get their hands on Svi Mikhailuk because he can flat play. He's got to get minutes this year for the Pistons, who aren't that good. He's a great shooter, great scorer, and really surprising playmaker as well.
Yeah, that's how I felt when I was reading those comments about Harrell. I'm like, damn, they're comparing him to Booker and Thompson, but like, I guess I could see kind of slivers of the resemblance when like the way he creates his own shot. I was just like, damn, this is impressive. You know what I mean? Just pulling up on people and just knocking them down was great. Yeah. But yeah, Detroit's got shooters over there. Bruce Brown is just a great example of, like, just kind of like, I guess you could say, a leader. You know, he was taking it to the rack. He could get his shot off, but he found a better shot at, you know what I mean, kicking it out to his guys who were just absolutely killing it.
Second-year guy, huge advantage.
Yeah, he's great. The Blazers, then, we beat the Rockets 97-87 in the second game. Our backcourt of Trent and Simons combined for 47 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. Gary Trent was definitely the MVP of that second game, but I thought Simons had a great game as well. Besides his 6 turnovers, I thought all around he had a pretty good game. Yeah, Trent hit 7 of 8 from 3 as well. So he was putting on a clinic. He was backing down smaller guards, scoring, taking it to the rack, scoring, like you said, finding the guy with a better look, and I mean, just knocking down threes. What'd you think about Nasir Little?
Nasir Little came out the first game and was a little shaky, as we've kind of mentioned. The whole team was. Mm-hmm. But in the second game, he really loosened up a little bit, I thought, especially offensively. We got to see him knock down a 3, looked real smooth. Mm-hmm. He had a monstrous put-back dunk, which was awesome. He is an athletic freak. He's still a little timid on offense. I'd like to see him be a little bit more selfish on offense. He tried to make a few passes within the post, which were actually pretty good looks, but I thought he could have just had his own shot. I think that Nasir is probably not going to play a lot this year just because of his limited offensive game. Mm. But he has the tools the guy that I really just he's not going to play this year for Portland,
Jalen
but is
Horde.
Jalen Horde.
He's been awesome, dude. He's been so good. Yeah, I don't know if it's because I'm like so surprised at his play, but like I've been watching him play and I'm just like, damn, Horde's actually like good. He's aggressive. He's like under control. He's where I think Nasir Little's trying to do a little too much. He's like losing his footing and making the bad decisions. But I think it's because he's just like trying to do too much. And Jalen Horde comes out here and he's like, I know my role, I know my job, and he just like gets the job done. But anyways, sorry to interrupt you. Go on.
No, I didn't realize what kind of player Jalen Horde was. I had watched some videos of him and read some reports on him, and my understanding was that he was just kind of a rebounding, athletic power forward. But he can handle it a little bit. He's got a decent looking shooting stroke, and he's got some good touch around the rim, good rebounds. I've been really pleasantly surprised with Horde, and for a young guy who was a 5-star coming out of France, actually, and then moved to America and 5-star going to Vanderbilt, he's got a lot of tools to play with. He's a really interesting name, even if it's not for Portland down the road with another team. He definitely could, find a spot in the league for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just really impressed with his play down low. He had 9 points and 6 rebounds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but he was just like consistently making the right decisions down there. And then he follows that up with a 10-point, 5-rebound game against the Rockets, and he still just looks like. I mean, I guess it kind of makes me think, if I'm trying to think of a player comparison, it's almost like Ed Davis, where you know what you're getting out of him, and you know what he's going to do for you, and he's just going to be consistent down there, so I was really surprised with him as well. And I hate to be that guy, but I don't know who number 40 was with the size 22 shoes on our team, but
Darnell Stokes.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
No, yeah, he's just a big bully out there, and we had him on our team last year in the summer league, so I don't know if he's got a connection in Portland or what, but yeah, he's there's definitely a lot of guys like that in the summer league where it's like, I don't know, they kind of get in the way of the real players.
Hey man, we got Portland's coming up, and we're gonna be playing the Utah Jazz on Wednesday. We're 1-1. That's gonna be a pretty good matchup. Do you have anything to say about that before we go?
I think that the Trailblazers are coming out on top. I think Simons and Trent Jr. got comfortable. I hope to see Nasir settle in a little bit offensively, and they should get the W.
I want to see some Skal Labissiere. Where's he been? Is he injured?
I don't think he's playing. I think he's just on the team and probably was just using him in practice so they could play him on defense and get our guys used to probably the best player they're going to play against is a guy like Skal.
Yeah.
Defensively, so maybe just using him in practice. I don't think he's going to play. One little nugget about the Summer League before we leave. Just a cherry on top of the New York Knicks misery. Man, I don't like to stamp guys this early, but if I'm a Knicks fan, I am sweating bullets because RJ Barrett looks like straight trash, homie. Straight trash.
Yeah, man. Say what?
Looks like Westbrook. 3 for 15, 8 points, 8 turnovers, 10 rebounds.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty rough. Zion being done for the whole summer league too is kind of shitty. I kind of wanted to see more of him. But speaking of that, dude, I don't know if you were watching the Bulls game and the Pelicans game, but Jackson Hayes had a nasty putback dunk in the first half. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but
I saw him dunk on a guy.
Yeah, Kobe White's got 16 at the half, so he was hooping. He was just pulling. He was pulling up in front of people, just in his face, and just smacking. There was a possession where he dribbled it up, pulled up right in front of somebody, smacked the 3, went down, stopped him, dribbled back up, pulled up, same guy, smacked another 3 in his face, same spot. I was like, man, this guy's awesome. But anyways, man, thanks for coming on. We're gonna be doing 2 or 3 of these a week. That's our goal. So I know we've been out for 5 days, but we're gonna bring it back in. If you haven't followed us on any of our social medias, they're still under Nick. They're not gonna change. So they're right over there, down there. And if you haven't followed us, give us a follow. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Appreciate y'all for watching. Thanks, brother. See you later.